Call to order the Greenwood Redevelopment Commission on this, the 14th day of March, 2023. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Moan?
Here.
Mr. Hoover?
Here.
Mr. Hopper?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Present.
Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Let the record show non-voting advisor, Mr. Alexander Jackson.
All 5 members are present in the room. Is there a motion to approve our minutes from our February 14th meeting?
Make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Moan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kane. Any discussion, corrections, additions, deletions? Hearing none, roll call. Or all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, we're here. I love it. Okay. All right. New business resolution 2023-02, modifying and confirming a declaratory resolution amending the East Side Economic Development Area. with the Arlington Farms. This is a public hearing, so I'll open that up. If anybody wants to come forward and speak for or against, they may do so now. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing.
Hey, thank you. So just as a update, we have mailed out the tax impact statement. Some of you might have actually received it in the mail to all of the overlapping units. So the schools, libraries, et cetera, all received that. And this is a allocation area that's project specific. So the new allocation area is 4 discrete parcels. Construction has started on the site. You may see it if you drive by on 2 of the 4. And my understanding of the process is that after today's vote, the final step in the approval chain is to get started with the Redevelopment Commission, with the Plan Commission, Council, and then finally back here. And then from this point, these will be recorded with the county and established officially established new allocation area in preparation of the next pay year being established as the base. So happy to take any questions on the process or the new allocation area.
Any questions for Adam?
Okay, thank you.
I'll move we approve resolution 2023-02.
Motion by Mr. Hoover, is there a second? Second by Mr. Harris. Any discussion from commission members? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion is approved 5-0. Old business, capital project report, Main Street, streetscape and roadway improvements, professional service agreement with HWC engineer.
Yes, this is one that Mark St. John spoke about and myself last meeting. This body has commissioned a study in 2016 for Madison and Main Street as 2 of the kind of traditional corridors that needed investment to the city. We've done a lot of work on Madison, and there's a phase that's going to be completed both this summer north of Main Street, as well as the work that's included in front of the new development. And so it's time now to move towards Main Street. And what this project with HWC does for $205,900 is start to break into chunks what these projects could look like. Where would be your natural boundaries? For example, do you have like one from Meridian to Airport Parkway, where we already have some designs done? It also will help us plan to coordinate with NDOT as a project that will happen 2026, in and around 2026, to redo a lot of things around the interstate, the way those ramps work, and allow us to kind of influence that with a better built environment for the city's kind of eastern door. So we're a ways off from a project, but this is how you kind of start down that path. The goal is to have a project in 2024 to start on one of the sections of Main Street.
Any questions for Kevin? I guess Exhibit C says we're going to kick this off February 14th. Did we kick it off February 14th, or
No, I think this probably just was sent. I don't think they realized that this would take multiple readings.
Okay.
We had no desire to try to fast move this, so.
Questions from anybody? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Harris, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I'm sorry, did you say what process was being?
In the east or central? Anything of the east side. This would go from basically the city limits on the east side, which is out there ways now, into Meridian, where the current improvements stop. Under the project that's already funded and underway.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion is approved 5-0. The field and house at 523 Madison Avenue, consideration of contract for services for Wayland Construction Company. Inc.
Yes, this was brought to you before, and Amanda informed me that the council has passed, it was recommended to do a conflict of interest for Wayland. And so we went through the appropriate, so it was been mailed to the state and to
The county.
the county. And that went through there, and this was $20,671.20 from the central TIF that was relocating mains that were in and around the previous middle school that now serve the field house, to make it also be able to serve the new buildings and accommodate the road and sidewalk just south of the field house, tentatively named kind of Church Street that goes from Our Lady over to what was the vineyard and what is now a Hindu facility.
Any questions or comments?
What was, I'm sorry, what was the conflict?
Height where the main was, where the old main was, to get the road in and the sewer underneath, it needed to be lowered
Okay.
to get your drainage and your road profile, which is too high. And with water, thankfully, you can move them up and down everywhere, unlike sanitary sewers, storm sewers, which move by gravity. Comes in off Meridian over there.
Gotcha. Okay,
That's
thanks.
where it did with the school. School had a bunch of water lines. A bunch of different conditions.
Any questions? from Kevin? All right, is there a motion to approve? Motion by Mr. Miller, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Hoop. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion approved 5-0. Next up, RLA agreement parking lot, northwest corner stairs, contract for services for Pointer Sheet Metal.
Yes, this was something that we always intended to do. People came out with it. This is for $9,100 to put in a railing that will be similar like the ones in Old City Park on the new stairs that lead from our shared parking lot with Our Lady at the Greenwood, pointed towards the west. They're getting a lot of use these days. Coordinated stairs with the administration there at Our Lady. They're getting a lot of traffic. This will put the railing down. We kind of had to try to put this in the winter. We've had to kind of beg and ask someone to come do some work in this winter, but we were able to find some people to do it. So
Kevin, there's not a ramp there,
it's a handrail in the middle of the stairs as you're walking
but
down.
I mean for like a.
Oh, so the ADA access on that is actually
Too
down.
steep.
If no, well, no, it's actually if you walk through the parking lot and went down closer to where the entrance to what they call the new church in Our Lady of the Greenwood is, and then that will have a pedestrian crossing over. So this has, it's a non-ADA access, but you have ADA based on the slope of the parking lot that then you can go down and intersect with the sidewalk by roughly where the entrance is, where the fountain is at Our Lady. But it was originally designed just with that and not the steps. And then we had a problem like at a colleges where it got so popular that everything, you know, you could see that you basically pave over where everyone's walking.
Any other questions for Kevin? I guess I'm trying to visually think about it in my mind. Is it one?
There's one in the middle.
One in
so
the
they-
middle.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is there a motion to approve? Second. Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Campbell. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion approved 5-0.
And just for the record, the contract itself is titled contract for goods, so if you make sure in the minutes that it refers to contract for goods, then it'd be helpful.
Next up, Greenwood Identity Wayfinding Signage, PSA with RLR Associates.
Yeah, so this is, we've had them kind of on call for several years now, and they've helped with everything from incorporating the field house into signs you've seen around town, Salem sign, the sign by Fire Station 91, wayfinding, the park signs, everything else. And so we didn't use all this. We just
Over the last 2 years.
over the last 2 years, it just felt time to come and redo the contract as a matter of best case or best practices.
Questions for Kevin? Essentially, these folks do all our signs, so we want to.
Yeah, and they advise
To do
on-
signs in the future.
Yeah, and then like, for example, Rob's Parks Department's had a lot of stuff, so it's like, how do we, like, in front of Kid City and the police department and how that was with Serena Way, and then there's one on the fire station, and then the ones on Madison Avenue, and if we decide to go and like modernize all the parking signs, because they're very old, like on the parking lots, they would help us figure out so it fits within the same graphics that the city uses, but also the tolerances for vision and height and the various regulations that keep us from having notice. Well, they don't keep us, but help us when notices come to an end as well.
Kevin, are the rates the same as they were for the prior period?
They're pretty close.
Yeah, I don't believe there was that much of an increase. If there even was one.
Cost more.
And it is it's a 2-year one.
Yeah.
So.
Let's get us in time for the sports complex out on First.
Yes, that's the primary use of this has been the parks amenities funded by the RDC, and that is what they're thinking about. And there may have to be a lot of more wayfinding on that, because you've got coming off Worsville or from the north, they've got to come in through Raycrow. Pat, you got the church and the school we got to work with too. So there's going to be a little bit more challenges with that.
Any other questions for Kevin?
And this allows the signs to happen just immediately as needed.
Well,
This
no, what
contract.
they are professional services, and they provide the drawings, and then we can go get quotes for a contract for goods, essentially from all your sign manufacturers. They'll provide the spec, what it needs to be, the height, the type of paint, reflectiveness. Another thing we'll probably use this for is like the parking garage. So we've never signed a parking garage before, but there's a lot of signs that need to go in a parking garage, and so they've done them for like IU Health and others, and so we'll need someone to kind of guide us. So. But it's on the design side, and then we go and get pricing from people on the build side.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Hooper. Is there a
I'll
second? Second, Mr. Harris. Questions, comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion approved 5-0. Thank you, Kevin.
Last thing is a pitch for one of your projects, field house in, I think in April, you have to check, doing a new event, Adam hasn't booked those things. It's pickleball and pints inside, birdies, bogeys, and brews, and wait for it, bocce and beer. I think they didn't get creative. Bocce and brews, I don't know, but they'll all be inside a new series.
Bocce and bourbon.
Bocce and
Bocce
bourbon.
and bourbon?
I don't know. A new series for adults
It's
and
gotta be
evening on the field house amenities. They've done some of these outside, but as it snowed, I guess, the last 3 days, the idea to bring some of those adult activities in there, golf, bocce, and pickleball, of course, always pickleball. That place is packed.
Pickleball capital of the world. Great
Yes.
idea.
All right, thank you.
Next up, financial reports.
As we play.
First item we have is the monthly financial, no big update there, other than it's updated year to date for 2023, and then after we issue the annual report, we'll bring the updated pay 23 values online as well. And then as far as the one actionable item we do have today is the annual report to the fiscal body. That's the required April 15th report, which is just a few days after your next regularly scheduled meeting. This afternoon, the DLGF opened up the TIP management portal. In prior years, there's been a member delegated to work with our team to review the drafts and get that submission prepared in preparation of your roles, you and council's review. So our ask would just be to work with a specific member over the course of the next month to review and prepare that final.
I've been that person in the past, right?
Yep.
Would be happy to do it again if you like.
All right. Any problems with having Mr. Harris be that person? Like, all those in favor, Mr. Harris, aye. All those opposed, nay. All right, you're it, sir.
I'll abstain.
All right, 4-0, 1 abstention.
Very good. Thank you again.
All right, department reports, Mr. Hodson.
That's for me, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
I have follow-up on the Verus project annual report, which was received approximately a month ago. And I have reviewed it and advised the president as to its content, found it to be satisfactory in addressing the requirements of the project agreement. Things I would point out as key information in the annual report was that the construction of the project, as we know, it's fully completed and fully leased. The CF1s that they attached from March of 2022 show that 9.6 million has been expended on the project. Project has generated 7.5 million in new assessed value. Project has generated 98,000 in property tax payments. And as reported in their CF1 filed in March of 2022, the project has 63 employees with total salary payments of $1.1 million. And they will be filing another CF1 this spring that will provide further updated information. Highlights and Mr. Hopper authorized waiving the oral report today since the written report was satisfactory. Thanks, sir.
Mr. Wright.
Nothing for me.
Mr. St. John, who isn't even here, I think. Probably has nothing, which may be a first that the city engineer hasn't had anything on the docket. It's been a while anyway. Anything from the mayor's office today?
Nothing for the mayor.
Let's see, is there a motion to approve? I got stuff to say on that completely. Motion to approve our original claims docket, right, which is in the amount of $1,771,824.94.
I'll motion that.
Mr. Harris, is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Goodwin. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion approved 5-0. Is there a motion to approve our additional claims docket in the amount of $59,942.48? Mr. Watson, were you about to say something?
No.
Sorry. Okay.
So
Second. Motion by Mr. Hoover, second by Mr. Campbell. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion approved 5-0. Any other business from anybody out there, either in person or on the interwebs? Hearing none, we will be adjourned. Interwebs.
I think, the next time.
So you think the interruption?
We're not